And we are back. We
Hello,
are
hello.
back. Hello,
Right.
ADNC family. Well, I am back with my brother from another mother, Theo E.J. Wilson.
What's going on,
And
beautiful African family? How are y'all? Thank you for tuning in. We're gonna wait for a few of y'all to come on because we got to continue this discussion that we started last time. So here we
and it's
go.
a very important discussion, as I
For sure.
say all the time,
Mhm.
talking about the Africa versus Black American diaspora. What are we calling it? A beef? What is it? You're like, what
Mhm.
exactly is going on? Africa, Black
It's a
America,
right.
you
It's a
know,
lack of
and
love. That's all it is, Emma. It's a lack of love for self. It's a lack of understanding of our commonality. It is us being baited into the kind of tribalism that allowed Africa to be unfortunately conquered and divided. And it's overall the forgetting of the most primary lesson of the conquest, enslavement, and colonization of African people, which is that in the face of white supremacy, you need to unify. Period.
yeah, and I
Period.
always say that it really only benefits the folks when you know, when we are beefing. And
For sure.
Aurora, hey Aurora, how you doing? Aurora says cut it out. What is it that you want us to cut out, Aurora? What are we because we're having this discussion, and this discussion is an important discussion because at the end of the day we all bleed the same color.
Mhm.
So, Theo,
How you doing?
let's just recap where we were last time. We were talking about how I'm a Ghanaian woman who's with a Jamaican man. You
Mhm.
are a Black American man who is with a Ghanaian woman,
Mhm.
and we thought this is a good idea to have this conversation because
Mhm.
we are the antithesis of what this beef is all about. Because me being African with a Jamaican person, and at the end of the day, it's about love. It's not about you're Jamaican and I'm Ghanaian and we hate each other, because there's also an unspoken beef that, or maybe it's spoken, that goes on too between Jamaican and Black American. So it's like, what on earth is going on? But let's talk to
Right.
some of these people. Spiritual Eye says, let Africa unify with Africa. Well, look, I'll let you take that one, Theo.
Yeah. So that's an unenlightened comment. Period. The fact is, you can look at what's happening in Africa and be like, see, they not unified. But I came up under gangbanging. I came up under cripping and blooding. I came up under drive-by shootings. And those same Africans can look at us and say, oh, Black Americans need to unify. So, all jokes aside, there is a need for us to understand that we've been pitted against each other in a false context. And this tribalism forgets, like I said, the primary lesson of white supremacy. Everybody who you talk to that be like, oh, Black Americans need to do Black Americans and Africans need to do Africans will also tell you in that same breath that it is a global system of white supremacy. You can move to Africa, they will tell you. You can move to the Caribbean, you can move to Latin America, and you still gonna have to deal with white supremacy. What is white supremacy? Pan-Europeanism, flat out. It's pan-Europeanism. And in the face of deep tribal beef, they found a way to unify to deal with you. And if you can't learn the lesson from that, I'm sorry, but you don't belong in this conversation. Go back and read your history. Stop being a D student of history, elevate your game understanding, and elevate your consciousness about what we are faced with today, how the past informs the present. And come back when you got a unified mindset, because that ain't going to function.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, brother. But uh Hose B
See,
Whining D says Pan-Africanism is dead. And Aurora says, oh, please, we are not them and they are not us. Pan-Africanism is dead. And Dre says, these Africans and Caribbean immigrants are FBI plants. Okay, I don't even know how to respond to that. Um, Our stories are the same people. Colonizers did a number on us, and we are buying this mess. But what do we need to wake up from, though, Aurora? I'm confused. What exactly is it that we need to wake up from? Ever since delineation, Africans want to unify. Ain't nobody agreeing with that Pan-Africanism. FBI, yeah, Whitney is like FBI plants. I'm confused. But you know what? Let us just,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to,
Sorry. Somebody gave me a call because I'm on my phone right now. So I need y'all to understand something about the delineation movement, right? Uh, it is most necessary to do that when it comes to reparations check being cut right at that moment. At that moment, if the reparations check is getting cut, go ahead and delineate, right? Uh, Delineation is dope because, and I'm going to talk about the light side, I'm going to talk about the shadow side. I appreciate the fact that me being a descendant of the black folks that built this country, the ethnogenesis of us is something that is historically unique, even among other black folks who were enslaved. I was telling Emma beforehand, I'm also part Jamaican, right? That's my patrilineal line. I'm 1/4 Jamaican, 3/4 foundational. 1/4 Jamaican, 3/4 foundational. All four of my grandparents was in this country during Jim Crow. All four of my grandparents are descendants of people who were enslaved, but Black Americans did have a unique path. I want to affirm that. Black Americans did have a unique path in the fact that among all groups that were enslaved, Black Americans were uniquely enslaved in a white majority country. That's unique even among the Caribbean. They didn't have that, right? And therefore, we had a different gauntlet with white supremacy. And because of the force that we were put underneath, we grew strong to resist that in a special way. And Black American culture is something that we need to understand should be something that we are proud of. But what I will not do is turn pride in my own tribe to F the mother Negroes. We're not going to do that. If you turn in pride in your own tribe to F the mother Negroes, FBA in your brain is as good as FBI in COINTELPRO. I'm going to say that. FBA is good when you're talking about I'm proud of myself and my culture and our ethnogenesis. FBA is FBI when it comes to you acting like you better than other black folks.
well, Theo's frozen, but he has a very good point. And I'm just going to say again, listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but what I will say is I am 100% on side. It does not benefit anybody in our community to have this divide. Hey,
Right.
Kellen is saying we were cargo. We were cargo. Let us all unite. Exactly. I agree. I 100% agree. So, Aurora, we don't agree with you with what you have to say here.
And
Honestly,
not
it's
so sorry. Go ahead, Emma. Sorry,
no, I
go
was
ahead.
just gonna say, like, you're entitled to your opinion, but I am 100% do not agree with that.
Right.
Um, but
And
but but one of the
go ahead.
things that I want to do before I play these two assets that I have is I just want to, hey Whitney, I just want to read what Whitney is saying here too. Every enslaved African had their own unique path. Respectfully, let's not let them see us fighting amongst ourselves. They would love to see that, which is what I'm saying. It doesn't benefit us.
Right. Right. Before you play those assets, I want to say that you got to be careful when you bring negative energy to a family feud because you could be vibrationally a match for the actual enemy. Right. The problem is that I have found that a lot of the AI assets that are being used in the foundational movement have not even come from Black Americans. They come from covert white supremacists. I saw a video where you had an AI creation of an African in the most stereotypically racist conditions, dusty, starving, flies in his eyes, talking about why can't I be like you, Black American? That don't even be how the Black Americans who are proud of this movement contextualize and frame Africans. That was a low-key white supremacist creating an asset that fed into the ignorance of people who are on the extreme end of the movement. See, here's what I find. The people who truly understand that there is a place for ethnogenesis, there's a place for us to talk about our origin story as unique among the diaspora, look at it as more of a both and, not an either or. It's a both and, not an either or. The fact that I am a foundational Black American and my mama's ancestors picked cotton in Louisiana, right? That my folks are from the place where jazz and blues was born. That on my daddy's mama's side, that was enslaved in Galveston, Texas before the Great Migration moved them up to Chi-Town. That's a beautiful thing to be proud of, but that story fits into the Pan-African story. It fits into it. It is not above and superior to. It is a part and a branch from the greater story of African people. And those who are wise understand that and ain't on them F the mother Negroes. It is, we are us, and I'm proud to be us, and I appreciate building with you too. Everybody else is an op, period.
That's it. I mean, that's it. You couldn't have said it any better.
Period.
But we have some people here in the chat that 100% disagree, and like I said, that is your choice. That is your choice.
They just loud, Emma, but they not really a majority like that. That's one thing I need y'all to understand. You loud. You on the internet and you bumping your gums, but just like MAGA, you making noise, but you're not a part of the greatest majority of the populace that you represent, shall we say. So it's good. I'm glad that you got your Twitter fingers going. That's cool. By all means, I appreciate the fact that you can express a dissenting opinion, but you're not as big as you think. And nor will you be, because that energy stops you from gaining momentum, allies, and partners. Because you alienated yourself. You are literally shrinking the momentum that you could have with that energy. So you loud. I see you typing and Twitter fingering and bumping your gums, but the fact is, you're not what you could be because you have chosen self-isolation. You're not what you could be because you have chosen to rather use delineation for something that is a pride and ethnogenesis. You're using it as divide and conquer. So congratulations on being an observing white supremacist ideology.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I'm America. How you doing? She said, oh, I'm American. Husband is Ghanaian. We both reside in the US now. And our experience has definitely changed the mindset of not only us, but everyone who comes into contact with our story. There it is. And you are an American who lives in America and is married to a Ghanaian woman.
Right.
Right?
Let me just talk about that. My wife, I didn't know she was Ghanaian when I first met her. I thought she was Black American. And part of the reason is because we the same people. That's actually the first reason, is because we the same people. In fact, Anglophonic diasporans, meaning those of us who speak English because we were colonized by the British. So Anglophonic is us, foundationals, Jamaicans, right? Belize, Ghanaians, Nigerians, and Black Brits. The Anglophonic Black diaspora be having more in common and have a readily accessible route to common ground just because of the fact that we're all Anglophonic, right? And so my wife, man, I'm telling you, she was raised among Black Americans. She came from Ghana when she was 10. So she doesn't even keep residual accent. Her accent sounds like she's from the hood. You know what I'm saying? But when she get around her family, it's all twee, it's aquaba, etese, you know what I'm saying? All of that. And it's a beautiful thing because we got 2 daughters and our daughters are learning both. And I'm teaching them to be proud of both sides of her lineage. They are foundationals because I'm a foundational. And there are also continentals because their mama is a continental. We are all Black. We are all Black. And that is what matters the most. So I don't play that tribalism. I think a lot of brothers and sisters who play that tribalism, because that's what it is, that F the mother Negroes because I am FBA, is sure enough an African mistake if y'all don't think you African. I promise to God, ain't that an African mistake, tribalism? Looking at your tribe as greater than the whole, forgetting that you're supposed to have most smoke for white supremacy. And I'm gonna say that again. You're supposed to have more smoke for white supremacy than members of your own diaspora. We got beef, we need to sort out, that's cool, but you're supposed to keep the majority of your smoke for the one who pit us against each other, right? And so us in our household don't play that tribalism because we understand the historical significance of what that would look like. And love just be finding common ground. And we love that.
There you have it. And Isaac, how you doing? Isaac says, shout out to Theo, Black Power, Bay Area, California.
Already,
So
homie.
okay,
Already.
so there, we and Isaac is also saying house mining is crazy and delusional. That needs to be blocked.
What? I'm sorry. Say that
Hoes
again.
be winning. Hoes be winning. Isaac, can you please explain?
Yeah, broski. I don't understand that.
But I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna play this asset of this Black American woman who is married to an African man, and she asked these questions. And let's just
Mm-hmm.
listen to what she said, her African husband had said to her.
All right.
Why Africans don't really like us? Well, I was married to an African. I remember we was having a conversation and I said to him, it just really seemed like y'all don't really like us. I was showing him a video. I said, this is what they show us of y'all, that y'all hungry, your ribs is hanging out. So I showed him the video of one of those commercials they would show us like 3 a.m. Could you spare $1? He said, that is not us. He looked at that video, he laughed, and he said, who is that? He said, that is not us. He said, that's not them in Africa. That was never them starving. I said, what? So then I said, well, what is they showing y'all of us? He said the movies that they see of us is that we are, our men sell drugs, which they do. But they sell drugs and they just murder anything walking. They murder everybody. And so I said, well, what they show y'all about us? He said, they show them that we're prostitutes and we get high. And I was like, what? And so then he said when he went to get his papers from immigration or whoever he get the papers from to come here, he said they told him, don't marry a black woman. You be better off marrying a white woman. So when we're looking at this separateness that we have amongst each other, it was inbred in us. It was inbred to them to fear us. So they fear us and don't like us. We got to wake up, y'all, and come back together and unite in unity. There was things that was done and said to keep us apart. Ashe.
You see, I will
Yep.
say that a lot of what she said, I was also told too and shown as a Ghanaian going into the United States. A Ghanaian that happens to live in Canada going to the United States. I was told the same kind of things. Like I was told, just be careful when you cross that border, keep your head on swivel.
Right.
There's nothing but drug dealers there and gangbangers, and they will see your license plate and they will know you're because our license plates will say like Ontario or Alberta, whatever province, right? And you will stick out like a sore thumb. I was told so many things, and then I went across and I was like, oh my gosh, and I had one great experience and it changed my whole mindset. So, but I will say this, I didn't go in there already thinking the worst about Americans. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't have that mindset. It was more, I was just paying attention to my surroundings, doing all the things that people normally do anyway when you travel somewhere. Right. So a lot of what she says, it is true that this is, these are the things that were said. And that's why I feel like a lot of this too is a lot of misleading information about
It
each
is.
other. Right.
It is. Listen, Miss Emma, in Ghana, there's something that my wife told me. You could see the slave castles off the coast.
Yep.
And because the British colonized their entire education, they was 10 years old when they came here and did not hear about slavery until we taught them. They didn't hear about slavery. The slave castles is right there. They were given no context about their meaning because the British had literally apprehended their education system because their history was stolen like ours was. So The reason why I say when it comes to understanding unity, you got to understand the mechanics of unity. It ain't just the fact that we have the idea that we want to be unified. Because let me tell you something, working as a person in the Black struggle movement for a minute. And look, if you actually did community work, you can attest to this. We be falling out with each other over stupid stuff all the time. It'd be ego, it'd be who slept with who, it'd be the money missing and ain't right. You know, we've seen all of this. Why? Because ideology ain't enough for unity. I'll say it again. Y'all could be on the same page. Black folks need this, and black folks need that, and black folks need, you know what I'm saying? And white supremacy this, and the common enemy is that. But the mechanics of unity have everything to do with love, with correction, love or correction. We be focusing on the correction, don't focus on the love. But it's really like patient, tolerant, long suffering with our brethren to a certain extent, right? I could G-check you without having to like completely disrespect your entire manhood, right? I could G-check you and be like, bro, now stand up right. Give me some dap. Mad love, bro, but we got to do better and show you that brotherhood. And we don't do that. The mechanics of unity are assuming best intentions. That's also the mechanics of love. The mechanics of unity are, I'm going to make space for my brother and my sister's trauma, right? Oh, so my sister, she only wear weave and color contacts. Oh, so my brother here, he only date white girls. You know what? That's how they trauma showed up on them. My trauma showed up differently. I'm going to make space for that. Now I'm going to hold you accountable, just like I'm holding y'all accountable for disrupting the possibility of unity with tribalism. But I understand also that I have to have a wide berth for what you have been harmed by if I'm going to open you into my arms of unity and risk being hurt, because that's the mechanics of unity. And ain't enough just to believe the same thing. I got to actually show up in love for you.
Exactly. And Brother Kellen is saying, Brother Theo is talking love, unity, and that's a problem. I don't, there are some people in here, I don't even, I'm not even going to dignify with a response because I do not understand how you can listen to what we're saying as a Black American and as a Ghanaian who I look at as my brother, period. It doesn't matter to me that he's a Black American. And this is a Black American who does not fit the narrative that is being spun about Black Americans. So this right here within this chat is a prime example of two people that are from completely different, races, ethnicities, but can still sit together as brother and sister and have this conversation talking about unity. So for me personally, I can't even dignify a lot of what's in this chat. I just think I'm really asking myself, why are you even here? Like, why are you here in this chat? You don't agree with what we're saying. That's fine. That's your choice. But why are we even having this debate? you know?
There's somebody in our sphere who answered that for us, and that's Brother Kellen. Shout out to Brother Kellen. Kellen said a lot of it's low vibrational energy. A lot of Black folks don't even realize that we operate in a low vibrational energy. What does that really mean in a realistic sense? It means that your emotional disposition is that you respond more to negativity than positivity. That's low vibrational energy. When your emotional disposition is the fact that you believe the negative before the positive, that you have affirmed that. And how could a traumatized people not have a negative disposition realistically, right? What I'm asking you to do is check that, bring awareness to that, and correct that. Because of the fact that a lot of what you're seeing in the chat right now, Emma, could be traumatized brothers and sisters, or brothers and sisters who have a bias or ignorance. And it also could literally be white supremacists. When we sitting up here, and I found this to be true, a lot of y'all don't know this about me, so I'm about to break this down to you. About 9 years ago now. No, 10 years ago. I can't believe it started 10 years ago. I created a fake profile as a white supremacist online, went undercover to dissect their ideology. What prompted me to do that was finding out that white supremacists had fake pro-black accounts on Black Twitter. And they knew how to say the right things.
Yeah.
And they knew the slang. They even knew our slang. If you listen to enough rap, like you will figure out our slang. But they said enough slang and typed in a way that there was almost a perfect match for our vernacular. But they were actually white supremacist actors there to be agent provocateurs and disruptors of possible momentum and unity. So what you see in his chat, whether it's a op that's disguised as a Black person who's really a white supremacist, or a traumatized Black person who's not doing the work internally to unpack their anti-African bias, it's the same vibration. It's the same negative vibration that Brother Kellen was talking about. And we got to be wary of that. And so I appreciate you not dignifying every single ignorant thing that come down that chat.
Exactly. And Isaac is saying the U.S. government is responsible for these African diaspora wars, and sellouts like those in the chat go along with it. Aurora, honestly, why are you here?
Because she's a white supremacist, yo. Like, period.
Why are you here?
She's a whole white supremacist.
She's saying that we shouldn't push our beliefs. We're not, though. That's the whole thing.
You shouldn't push your ignorance, Aurora. You a whole white supremacist, even if you're a Black person, period. So check yourself before you get wrecked on this comment section, you know what I'm saying? And come on back when you got your head right.
Yeah.
Or just leave.
Exactly.
Bye-bye. This is the African Diaspora News. This is what I'm saying. This is the African Diaspora News Network. Oh, we ain't Africans. Why you here? Why are you here? There's plenty of channels for you.
The channel is called African Diaspora News Channel, okay? I don't know where you got that from, Nix, but I'm an African and I don't want to be anything but an African. So I'm not sure why you're saying Africans want to be anything but an African. That is absolutely false. Okay. Anyway, so if you don't want to unify with our rhetoric, exit the platform. Exit. So we're going to move on to a Jamaican man who is also speaking about Black Americans who are cussing out Jamaicans, and he has some words to say as well. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Numerous of Black Americans disrespect Jamaicans. I'm saying I something on it, because me have a few Black American friends, you know what I mean? But let me say this: Black Americans, do this to me, do a research. Look for Marcus Garvey. He's a Jamaican national hero. But just look what him do for America. Yeah? And then you come back and come cuss me. Okay? Big up.
And we know about Marcus Garvey.
Yeah, we do. And it's sad that I'm
Marcus Garvey.
Right. And there's misinformation about him that he was somehow an op because he met with the KKK. Similar to how, like, a president of a warring nation will meet with the president of a warring nation to have a diplomatic discussion. Marcus Garvey, when he said, "Up, you mighty people, and become what you will," Marcus is from Jamaica, but he blew up in Harlem. That's where he blew up. And so we wouldn't even know about Marcus Garvey had it not been for Black Americans, because Marcus Garvey, before he came to America, he traveled all around the Caribbean and South America and saw Black folks experiencing the same condition, regardless of whether they spoke English or Spanish. He saw the same condition. You go to Panama, you know what I'm saying? You go to Colombia, you know what I'm saying? You go to Puerto Rico, you see the same thing. You go to Harlem, you see the same thing. So Marcus Garvey, because he was willing to meet with the op for real, he's being branded as somebody who sold us out, when the fact is, we're having this conversation because of him. And so, all jokes aside, Emma, I really hate to say it, I could tell when somebody a low-key D student who got a smartphone. I could tell when somebody a low-key D student, and like, it's all right to be a D student, but you got to know that. Like, for example, my high school was an international baccalaureate school. I was not an international baccalaureate student, but because we were international baccalaureate school, we were educated at a higher level than other schools, even in the public school system. Because back in the 90s, public school was actually a little more competent than it is today when I was in public school. But because I was at an international baccalaureate school, I had a chance to peek into what international students are taught. And first and foremost, Americans ain't even educated at the international level. We actually beneath that. And then some of y'all is beneath the educational level, partially not because of your fault. A lot of us from the hood came from underfunded schools, came from teachers who wasn't patient with us, who had white supremacist leanings, who drove us through the school to prison pipeline. But you got to know that you was missing some data points. You got to know that you dumb to get smart. And I'm seeing a lot of Dunning-Kruger here. I'm seeing a lot of the fact that even though I know that I came from a school where I had a higher level of education, when I went international and actually traveled, I wasn't even at a lot of their level. So meeting intelligent African people in Africa, talk about that, let me know that I need to elevate my game. And a lot of y'all don't even know that you've been let down to the level that you've been let down. So a lot of these conversational talking points, I could tell you as a D student in an American defunded educational school system, and then you so standing on business about business that you don't actually have. You need to educate yourself and listen.
And that's the whole point. You can be a D student, but there are so many resources now that you can educate yourself. It is a choice at this point. You choose not to. You choose to sit in that negative space and think that way. And that is, again, it's your choice.
Right.
We are not imposing our beliefs on anybody. We're having a conversation, like I said, two people from different backgrounds who are united in the way that we think. And we're both Black. It doesn't matter that I'm Ghanaian. It doesn't matter that he's Black American with some quarter Jamaican. It doesn't factor into this. So that's what this is about here. So again, I say to those that don't agree, that is fine. But what you're not going to do is be in this chat actually talking about things that are not even factual. And Kellen's even responding to one who said Marcus Garvey is a sellout. And so Kellen is saying, if Marcus is a sellout for meeting with the KKK, some of y'all are. Precisely.
That's a whole D student comment. Like, y'all got to know that y'all D students. And it's okay that the school system failed you, but now you failing your people because you won't lift your educational level higher.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. But I can tell these are all D. They're loud, very online active D students talking and stuff. But you got to know that that's what you are. You feel me? So here's what I can tell. Folks are litigating settled science. You're relitigating things that have already been proven. It's like flat earth. We got a whole lot of cultural flat earthers, right? Things that you could prove yourself that the world ain't flat. You can look at the model and tell right off bat that just a little critical thinking that this is off. Just a little critical thinking. But the fact is, people who believe that, well, since the school system failed me, nothing's real. Bro, certain things are still real. No amount of bad schooling can stop you from adding up 2 + 2. No amount of bad, you can do that by yourself. And so we got a bunch of loud D students, but I could tell D student comments. What I want to do is focus on like what the solution could look like, though.
That was where I was going to go next, because I'm not going to spend any more time having this conversation that's going nowhere.
It ain't going nowhere.
My thing is, we're here to talk about unity. We're here to talk about Black love, really, community, unity, right? So that's what we're here to talk about. And we're here to talk about solutions. And people can say, stop talking about it, stop talking about it, stop talking about it. But I'm a big believer in you have to talk about it. You got to get to the root cause. And when you get to the root cause, then you start working towards solutions. And so that's really, for me, we can talk about this in 50,000 segments as far as I'm concerned.
For sure.
So this is what I'm talking about. What is the solution overall? How can we get to a place where we, like I say in the caption, like we bridge that divide?
Right. I would suggest a book to start off with. A book that I would start off with is written by a sister named Joy DeGruy Leary. At the time, I'm not sure if she's still Joy DeGruy Leary, but the book is called Post-Traumatic Slavery Syndrome. If you ain't read Post-Traumatic Slavery Syndrome, it's exactly what it sounds like. Post-traumatic slavery syndrome is about the things that we have inherited as a people that we didn't even know that we inherited. When it came to dysfunctional elements that we were learned, that we had learned on the plantation, there are dysfunctional elements of our culture. You know, the fact that, for example, you don't see pre-colonial records of children being beaten in the African continent. One of the things that a lot of people said when they went to the African continent is even though sometimes the children were living in what we would consider destitute poverty, they were happy in the mud. That when they say that a village could raise a child, that's really how the children were raised. The discipline and reprimand was corrected by proper structure and education. But beating children is something that we inherited. And that's an advent of the overseer. Negative elements about how we perceive ourselves, negative elements of how we perceive Africans. It's all the advent of post-traumatic slavery syndrome. We were taught to hate Africa on the plantation, right? We were taught to hate Africa so bad that a lot of us think we more Native American than African now. When the truth is that Black Americans ain't nothing but Africans with their hard drives wiped. That Native American thing is a program that you picked up environmentally because it feels closer. And we got some of that in our blood, no doubt I do. In fact, I have twice the Native American blood that the average Black American has. I'm primarily African. And so learning Joy DeGruy Leary's book, Post-Traumatic Slavery Syndrome, allowed me to love us a little better, allowed me to have more compassion for us. See, Black folks this is another thing that Black Americans, specifically, and all of us who survived the slavery experiment went through. We have low self-compassion. We have that, I don't care what you're going through, pick yourself up and walk. We got, man, I just got to power through. That superwoman thing that a lot of sisters go through. There's also a Superman thing, this Atlas thing that a lot of Black men go through. I don't care. I don't care if I'm hurt. I don't care if I'm falling. I'm not good enough. This inner dialogue, this inner monologue that says I'm always less than. That's post-traumatic slavery syndrome. Once I read Dr. Joy DeGruy Leary's book about that, I saw those elements on how I was raised, and I was like, oh man, a lot of the homies that I thought were real hard and tough when I was growing up was just traumatized. And the last thing I'll say before I get off the soapbox, when we talk about unity, Miss Emma, in that book, Joy DeGruy Leary says, when you consider what Black folks went through in the slavery experiment, we are remarkably functional. We are remarkably functional. We are remarkably resilient, actually, because it's like somebody, you hear their back. Now, you know this person, an alcoholic, but you hear their backstory like, dang, I'd have been smoking crack and I've gone through that, right? What kind of resilience do you have to just be an alcoholic? We got dysfunction, but the fact is that we have beautiful gifts that once I read that book, I was able to see exist not in those of us just only who survived slavery, but those of us who are also the ones who survived colonization, my African family. So Post-Traumatic Slavery Syndrome is a beautiful book. I recommend that to everybody. That's the foundational thought process for finding unity.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people in this chat who I'm sure have no intentions on reading it, and maybe they don't do a lot of reading and education because some of these responses are insane. Okay,
Yeah, they're white supremacists though. And
yeah, well, they're mad. They're big mad at you. They're big mad at you. I mean, Nix is saying you cannot speak for all Black men or Americans. They don't want you talking for them. What do you have to say about that, Theo?
Speak for yourself, big homie.
Don't speak for them. And
Right.
your question about why don't I go back to Ghana? Who told you I haven't? And who told you I don't?
Nah.
So speak not about something you don't know.
Right, because I've gone to Ghana and I've gone to the hood. Like I literally, like, I think that, like, real talk, they loud, Miss Emma, but they not as numerous as they think they are. And I think dealing with that cognitive dissonance is very tough. So for y'all who got a problem with what I'm saying, just understand that like if the police pull us over, I got your back. You feel me? If the police pull you over and the police pull me over, we all black. You feel me? Um, Let me tell you a story about unity. Oh, I never told you this story, Emma. So I came up in the school of the Hotepery, the Ra'u Nefer Amen, the ancient Kemet, you know what I'm saying, Rita Metu Neter, right? So I used to have this active beef with the Hebrew Israelites. Me and the Hebrew Israelites used to go back and forth because I'm from school Hotep and they from school Hebrew. Let me tell you something. The main Hebrew Israelite dude that I used to go back and forth with found ourselves as the only black people in the conceal and carry gun class here in Colorado. Now he Hebrew and I'm Hotep and we surrounded by Magites. That's all we got around us is maggots. And I'm sitting up there, I'm looking at that bro like, hey man, it is what it is at this point. We all black, man, and we was both getting the microaggressions. What they doing here? Because concealed carry firearm training is like some sacred stuff to them. Like, you know, they want to think they're the only ones who packing the heat when it comes to them being out in civilian life. But they got a Hotep and a Hebrew straight up legally learning how to conceal and carry a firearm. We could both feel the hostile vibe. And let me tell you something. Me and him never beefed after that. He's Hebrew, I'm Hotep, but right now, when it comes to this, we black. And that's what matters. So all jokes aside, I went through that and I never forgot the lesson. And it was a really, really important thing for us to like go through, you know?
And I always say that, and I'm. It's not even to try and make this simple or simplify it, but for me, it's really quite simple, which is that it doesn't matter whether we have different melanin. Like I may
Right.
be a darker complexion, you may be a lighter complexion.
Right.
I may have kinky hair and you're bald. At the end of the day, if you and I are walking down the street, all they're going to see is a black woman and a black man. They're not going to say there's a Ghanaian. You don't know if I'm Ghanaian or not, or there's a black American. If there's a criminality situation and somebody said describe her, they're going to describe she's black, she's
Right.
whatever height, she has locks in her hair. And how many times has somebody been described? And I'm going to use a black man as an example. And then the police go and pick up a random black man and say, you fit the description of somebody that was pulled over. Do they say Jamaican? Do they say African? None of that. So if I'm going to just dumb it down, that's what I'm saying at the root of it all. It doesn't matter. So again, I say by all of this, these people in the chat who feel the way they feel.
You gotta leave that chat alone, Emma, because they over here just gonna be what they is. Like, this is called Stuck on Stupid. Unfortunately, we like trying to shine some light. I was told to never waste energy on people who, when shown the light, choose the darkness.
Exactly.
Been shown the light.
But if you, all I'm saying is that,
right.
We can't convince them. Maybe they just have to experience it. Sometimes you have to burn to learn. And maybe that's what it is. For me personally, I want to keep going forward to talk about the solutions, right? So number one, educate yourself. Educate yourself on the history. Educate yourself. That's the first thing. Without education, you really have no talking point because it's clearly, right? So
it is what it is.
That's the first order of business. Let's educate ourselves. And, I believe continue to have these conversations. And maybe it's a conversation with a bunch of different, races, ethnicities of people in a room to have this conversation and literally stop with these stereotypes that you see. Like this sister that we watched was saying, this is what we saw in Ghana, and this is what we saw in America. Like, it's no. And the other thing I will say too is I don't expect it to happen with 90% of the people in the chat, but everybody needs to visit Africa. I feel like that is, if you are a Black person, that is where you need to go. The motherland. You should experience Africa. And
Yeah.
maybe, just maybe, it may change the mindset of some of the people. Yeah.
I believe you're accurate on that. And here's what's crazy about that. A lot of the ignorance I could tell is people who ain't never traveled nowhere.
That's
Like,
the other thing.
it'd be like, tell me you ain't got no passport without telling me you ain't got no passport.
That part.
Tell me you ain't never been on a plane without telling me you ain't never been on no plane.
Yeah.
And it's like this right here. I first stepped foot on the continent in 2014. My pops got a business partner who's a real estate developer. He had property over there, and he used to take Black Americans on tours to go to South Africa. And that's a really good place to start because South Africans have the apartheid experience. It's parallel to Jim Crow in so many ways that a lot of the tribalism that a lot of Black Americans say that they felt from certain African groups, you're not going to get that from South Africans. Why? Because they were a bunch of tribes until white supremacy came in and made them all Black. So when I went to South Africa, I got what I was told I was going to get. Welcome home. I'm telling you, welcome home. All those brothers and sisters did was embrace me. And like, so I'm a singer. So I had learned in Kosi Keleli, I had learned their national anthem. So I would just break it out and start singing it like the way that like a Black American sings. And they was like, wow, you feel me? And then on top of that, the white South Africans treated me differently in a good way. Because I remember I went to the club one night and I had got into VIP and this white dude tried to move past me in an aggressive way, like, what's out, bloke, or whatever. Dude, I ain't never been called no bloke before. Dude called me a bloke. I've been called a loke. I ain't never been called no bloke, right? So I was like, what you mean, bloke, homie? You better back up. And just off the strength of like, hey, you better back up. What's up with it then? Like just that Black American energy made Buddy be like, oh, I'm straighten him up real quick. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, as a Black American, look, as you go to the continent, see, this is how I know it's cap when they say that Africans don't love us. I went to the continent as a representative of the most famous tribe on the planet. I went to the continent as a representative of the tribe that gave them Muhammad Ali, as a representative of the tribe that gave them Michael Jackson and Oprah Winfrey. I was cool off rip. And it was the kind of love that you got. Let me tell you something, because they got gang activity in South Africa. One of the most violent and most notorious gangs in South Africa, at least at that time, was called the Americans. And you knew you was in a territory because they spray painted a stencil of Pac on the bridge. You knew you was in American territory because they literally spray painted a stencil of Pac. We got so much love there, just off the strength. In fact, I never felt more American than when I went to Africa in a good way. Because here in America, I don't be feeling like I really belong. But in Africa, it was a whole different vibe. Just off the strength of that, you need to hit the continent before you get on your Twitter fingers gabba in these comment sections.
So wait. You just said something that I really want to expand on. You said you felt more American in Africa and you don't
Right.
ever really feel like you belong as a Black American?
That's facts.
So
yeah, go ahead.
but let me why? Like, why don't you feel like, I know why I don't feel like a Ghanaian in Canada, but why do you not feel like a Black American in America? Like,
I
you don't feel
feel
like you
like
belong?
I feel like I'm Black, but I don't feel like an American. And what I'm telling you by that is, you know, I got beat up by the police when I was 22 years old. I got literally handcuffed to a chair and beat by the cops. And this is me being the grandson of a Tuskegee Airman from a military family, somebody who, by all records, should have some clout here. I'm a foundational. My folks built this from the ground up. Actually built it from the ground up. But I was just black. In that moment, and just the trauma that I suffered from that made it so that I never really felt that I couldn't really look at the flag and be like dun 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 dun, dun, dun. But when I went to Africa, let me tell you something. It wasn't just that I was an American. It's like I was a Black American, meaning Americans a lot of times got a negative stigma attached to them. But the fact is, Black Americans flex America in one of the most positive ways that America is perceived, right? And I said this, one of the reasons why America won the Cold War is because the Russians had no answer for the moonwalk. I'm a kid of the 80s, so I remember when Michael Jackson was global. I remember when Michael Jordan was global. I remember when Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation, Salt and Pepper, hip hop took on. I remember when hip hop took over the world, and it was distinctly American. And America used our culture to influence the direction of the countries that they were going to war in a Cold War with against Russia. So being like a Black American in Africa was being an American in a way that only a Black person could be. And feeling that, I'm telling you, there ain't nothing like that. You got to hit the continent. You got to hit the continent. And if you come with a spirit of brotherhood and respect, you ain't gonna get no smoke from them Africans, I promise you.
And the other thing is, one thing that you never, and I know I can say this, you never will feel is racism.
Woo!
You never feel like, okay, who's gonna pull me over? Who's gonna racially profile me? You don't experience that
Right.
at all.
Right.
Crystal is saying most definitely. I mean, I want to take my children so we can relax and learn. The United States is so timid right now. We need a break. I strongly recommend it. I strongly recommend it. I do.
Look, I was in Ghana earlier this year. I do filming, I'm on camera all the time. And I was filming my project. Let me tell you something. So I was in Accra and I went out to the club. It was a club slash restaurant. I would always be where it's popping, you know what I'm saying? And I went there and it was, I didn't realize that I didn't need to be tense like that no more. It took me 3 days. I was only in Ghana for 12 days. It took me 3 days before I even realized that I was armored. You feel me? I'm a Second Amendment dude. So it's like, I'll be ready for it to go all the way down, And I was in Ghana and I was like, yo, I'm not even thinking about where the door is so I can exit. The situation awareness that you have to have, afraid of active shooters, white supremacists, a Karen, a racist cop, finna come out the woodwork,
a Ken, all of that.
It wasn't none of it, yo, and you don't realize this is what Emma's saying. You don't realize, Black folk, how much that be weighing on you. It be weighing on you. It be in the back of your mind all the time. When these white supremacists gonna come out, this is gonna be the day. The police pull me over, it's gonna be the day. And when it was 3 days, Emma, before I realized, oh shoot, none of that is a possibility right here. You gotta go to the continent.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not just saying that because I'm Ghanaian. There is a whole other world out there that people just don't realize.
Right.
What a difference it will make in your life if you were just open, which again, we just leave that alone. But I'm not even going to dignify a lot of what people are saying here
Don't do it. But
at
all right,
all
so
because
since they up here bumping your gums, and since you listening to your boy, since you wanted the sound of my voice now, since you don't like what I'm saying now, all right, then listen to this. Africa taught me a key lesson about Black Americans. This is a warning to you. I'm going to warn you about something that I learned while I was in the continent. The world, the planet, has a pace of hustle, a pace of awakening and understanding that largely we are behind as Black Americans. When I told you that their educational system is better there, many Africans, though they are in a colonial educational system, it's still British, and the British have a globally competent educational system. Look at where they ranked, right? Look at how Nigerians be coming over here, flexing the academic stuff. Nigerians are the only one that Koreans and Indians be cheating off their paper. What's going on with that? It dawned on me while I was on the continent that we behind the 8 ball. And if we not careful, the world will leave us in the dust, leave us behind in a way that could have us go extinct as a tribe. Now, the Black race is going to be all right. Africans going through a lot, but Africans are hustling at the global pace. They are, in fact, going faster because they're playing catch up. Black Americans are still Americans. In many ways, we have ingested the privilege of not having to be as competent as other people trying to catch up. Now, we do that within the American construct in many ways, but by and large, a lot of us is so stuck in survival mode, we don't even realize how far we've been left behind because America is carrying us. But Africa, with 1.3 billion people, as much as they admire us and got love for us, can live without us. We are under the purview of a people who already drove a race of people towards the brink of extinction. And if you ain't hustling at the way that you need to be, the world, including the rest of the Black race, will leave you behind. You better form some diaspora connections. Because what I'm saying here, consider that word from the Most High. And I don't even flex it like that. But you need to understand where your place really is in the diaspora and know that you got to play catch up to even consider yourself globally competent. Like it or not, that's facts. You could go extinct if you don't connect with the rest of the diaspora. Extinct if you don't connect with the rest of the diaspora. Extinct if you don't connect with the rest of the diaspora. That's the word for y'all today. Like it or not, your boy gonna tell you the truth.
Get along with us or get left behind.
It's a fact.
And Kellen says that's real talk. Don't think you don't need education. Exactly. Education is facts. Love you too, Ternice. Okay, message. Most won't make it. You gotta have an ear to hear. Amen,
Facts.
Kellen. Exactly. Oh, exactly. So I'm in 100% agreement. And again, we're not trying to convince anybody. We're having a conversation that is necessary, that is vital, that's important, because again, at the end of the day, it does not matter FBA, Black American, African, from whatever country within the
Haitian,
continent.
Jamaican, Panamanian, Dominican, Brazilian. You Black.
You're all Black. That's it.
Period.
Period. Dot. The end. So for me personally, I'm going to put my Pollyanna hat on and I'm going to say, if in a perfect world, what I would love to see is all of us being able to unify, period. And because I always say, like, us as Black people, the power that we have.
For sure.
And then the power that we have in unity. Why do you think it is that the folks and other people are like begging us to be a part of their whatever rally, march, cause? Why do you think they're going on camera and saying, please, please, Black people, where are you at? Why weren't you at the King's March? Why aren't you here? Why aren't you there? Why do you think that
Right.
is?
Right.
Do you think it's because they don't know that we are so powerful, and power in numbers as well?
Right. They know what we bring, yo. And what we bring is that resilience. You know, let me go ahead and speak with pride on being a foundational, as they say. Calorie per calorie. You know what it took for me to exist versus somebody not from this lineage? See, that's why I don't get down with the we not from the Middle Passage. Dang that. I went to Elmina Castle when I was in Ghana. That resilience and that magic got cultivated under the harshest of circumstances the world has ever seen. There never been no experiment run on no other people than it has run on us. And the fact that we came through it, playing jazz, playing psychedelic funk, sea walking, you know what I'm saying, came through it, inventing the traffic light and the super soaker and the algorithm for the internet, the fact that we came through it, doing the things that we do and how we do what we do. I would want to be a part of that too. Shoot, I'll be so mad. Look here. So it's like there's a point of pride, and I will delineate to the point of pride and who I come from. I will not delineate into F the mother Negroes. I will not do that. And neither should you. We fit into the Pan-African story. And the basis of this, I'll say this, Emma, is love. See,
Yes.
I love myself. I love myself.
Exactly.
I protect myself. And since I love the part,
myself, and I
that's
love
what I'm
my
saying.
people, and I love my community. Okay.
That's
love,
right.
Love, love, love. The root. Love is the root.
Love is the root.
Hey, Dennis, that's right. Dennis says another book to read is 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind by Philip Scott. That's right. Read that book. Run over to Amazon. It's on Amazon.
Shout out to Big Phil. What's cracking, brother Phil? Shout out to you, big homie.
That's right. Get that book. Again, educate
yourself. You better buy Phil's book right now, goddamn.
Educate yourself.
Educate yourself.
Portia. Thanks, Sister Portia. Sister Portia says, go Emma. That's right. I'm going, sis. I'm going.
Go ahead, Miss Emma.
Yeah.
Listen. I love myself.
Yeah.
And because I love myself like I love a child, I'll protect you. Some people be like, I'll never do anything to harm another person. But if you about to harm a child, it's smoke. Why? Love.
Yeah.
Love will make you ride for somebody. Love will make you stand on business for somebody. Love will make you sacrifice self. Love will make you go further than you ever thought you could go. You see what I'm saying? So because I love us, because they hate us so hard, regardless of what our beef is, you got to put that aside for right now. Because we said this last one, me and Emma said, I'm gonna say it again. If me and Emma is stuck in a Shark Tank, now is not the time to delineate, homie. I'm not gonna argue whether you from Ghana, whether I'm from Foundationals, or whether I'm from Jamaicans. I'm not gonna argue that. I'm in a Shark Tank, boy. We got to get out and we got to find a way to kill this shark or something. But right now, we got to work together. We may have beef. I may have actual beef with Emma. We don't in real life, but I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking.
No, it's all love.
Until we get out that Shark Tank, homie, you put that aside and you figure out how to get out that Shark Tank. That's pan-European global white supremacy. So go ahead and keep your smoke. You better have more smoke for the shark. You better have more smoke for the shark than the person you have a disagreement with that's in the tank with you. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. We could be lost on an island somewhere, deserted.
Right.
Do you think that if we had to come together and find food, that we would be like, oh, you're Black American, so no, I'm not sharing that with you. I'm gonna start speaking Twi to you, so you don't understand what I'm saying while I'm over there. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. And don't speak for Philip Scott. You don't know what don't speak for Philip Scott. I'm not even gonna read that, because you do not speak for Philip Scott.
That's a troll right there. That's a white supremacist, even if they black.
Big time. And
That's a white supremacist.
yeah, excuse me, but yes, look, Theo doesn't need to identify as FBA, okay? Because
It's
I
a
don't know.
lineage, ain't it? I am whether or not I identify or not. It's a lineage, ain't it?
Yeah.
So you better tell my folk who picked that cotton in Louisiana and Galveston, Texas, that I'm not. So it is what it is. It's a lineage, not an identifying thing. It's in every cell of my body.
But
And I'm gonna tell
again,
you what I'm telling you.
it's the lack of education,
It's a lack of education. Oh, D
right?
student action. That's that D student action, man. Go ahead and read the book.
Exactly. And talking about Africans scamming Black Americans, let me see. Let me see how I can put this. Are there scammers everywhere around this world? Have Black Americans been scammed by any other group of people?
Come on, man. We got a whole dating situation talking about how Black American men and women scam each other. Come on now. Like,
Exactly. Thank
all
you,
jokes
Crystal.
aside.
Crystal
See,
says, yup,
so
exactly.
since you said that, look at the lack of critical thinking. Lack of critical thinking. I'm talking about the beef between Africans and the tribalism in Africa. But if I'm not turning the mirror on myself and be like, dang, where do Black Americans got beef? Wasn't Hebrew versus Hotep beef? Wasn't Blood versus Crip beef? So why are you talking about Africans need to unify when we got work to unify our darn selves? This is what I'm saying. Lack of critical thinking.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, look, you can drag a horse to water, right? So
But you can't make them drink. Then why y'all at the water? Get on out and let somebody else drink. Come on
yeah,
now.
yeah, exactly. So, it is what it is. But I really appreciate these conversations. I
For sure.
really appreciate being able to, have as somebody that's Ghanaian, have a conversation with somebody that's Black American who's married to a Ghanaian woman, and I'm a Ghanaian man. Excuse me. I'm a Ghanaian woman.
We know what you is, Emma. Y'all bet not.
I'm a
Married to a
Ghanaian
Jamaican man.
woman.
I know what you gonna say.
Next thing you know, I mean, they already were saying I was AI. Next thing you know, they're gonna be like, "Oh, no,
Yeah, go ahead with
Ghanaian
that.
woman
Silly ass folk. Oh,
that's
silly ass folk. Yeah,
that is with a Jamaican man, and guess what? It's all love.
it's love.
That's the whole thing. So, agree, don't agree, that's fine. Theo and I are of the same mindset, and we're going to
Right,
continue this conversation. We will continue this conversation.
right.
And that is that. So, any final words, Theo?
I would say even with y'all who think you got a problem with me, realistically, it's most people who watch the channel got mad love for you boys. So y'all are in the minority once again. And I will say most importantly, you get the energy that you bring. You get the energy that you bring. Now, see, I'm gonna love you with correction, but I still got love for you. I, in a different decade, had a different mindset. So I'm gonna leave space for your growth. I'm gonna leave space for your evolution. And I wish that you open your heart and mind to the truth of our unity. And maybe we'll say something different next time we do a live. How about that?
Yeah, and again, quite simply, I'm going to say you can try to define yourself as FBA or whatever you want to call yourself, but at
That's
the end of
cool.
the day, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things what you're going to be perceived as. And I'm talking about physical attributes. I'm talking about aesthetically. What you're going to be perceived at is Black. So if you get pulled over by a police officer, you get racially profiled, they're not looking at whether or not you're African or Jamaican or Trinidadian or any of that.
None of
All
that.
they're seeing
None of
is a
that.
Black man or a Black woman walked in this store, or a
Right.
Black man or a Black woman is driving this car, and I'm about to go, torment them. Period. And so
Period.
maybe if you haven't experienced it, like Brother Theo said he has, I'm
Look,
not wishing it upon anybody. I'm just saying, I know for me personally, as a Ghanaian woman, I've gone through insurmountable amounts of anti-Black racism in this here country of Canada, and
mhm,
nobody cared. Nobody, no, whoever the oppressor was could care less where I was from. So I wasn't able to walk in the store and say, "Hey, I'm Ghanaian. Leave me alone."
Right.
No. So that's what I want to say is we're all black. Period. Get over it. Get over it or don't. At the end of the day,
or
this is
don't.
our feeling. This is our mindset, and I lead with love for all my
Right.
people.
Right.
And that's what we're gonna close it off with. Love.
Find it for
Love is
yourself
the
and you'll
word.
find it for everybody else, all right?
All right. So I'm gonna love you and leave you, Brother Theo. Thank you so much for joining. And
No doubt.
to those who are listening, taking this in with an open mind and an open heart, God bless you. God bless your heart. To the others, well, bye. That's all I have to say.
Peace, peace.
Bye-bye.